Go ahead and get started.
Okay, so I've got it on record. Okay. So we're ready to go. So Tom, if you'd like to say a few words to kick us off this morning.
Well, this group certainly has heard me over the last month talk a lot about the value of this tool for them. This is a tremendous group at finding new opportunities and making the most out of relationships that they currently have. Very, very active group. So the Pulse tool, I see it as even more important in getting them halfway to those conversations by identifying accounts that maybe they didn't even know existed, and providing some insight to that client to let them know how we can help them. So we did the training. Boy, was it a couple months ago, John?
I think in August.
Did it? Yeah. And we did it right before. We had two trainings back to back. One was for a product we have called Vision, which is a proposal tool, and it really is a very valuable tool. But we did the Pulse training right before that, so I think the team may have not retained a lot of what you shared with us on that call. So here we are in stepping into next year and needing every tool at our disposal to identify new opportunities out there. So I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to hear from you again. And I know you also have some new developments as it relates to trying to establish appointments. And it's something that we intend to use in all of our new business development next year.
Well, I appreciate it. And we're working very closely with Ben Blackwell. And I will, in the time this morning, share with you some best practices, if you will, from other lead properties, particularly the integration of Pulse on the front end to Vision. And as Ben would say, tip of the spear. Have you heard Ben say tip of the spear?
Yeah, Ben he's really led the charge on that, and he was a part of some of our calls too to talk about the value that you get from it. So it has really paid off for those markets that have embraced it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been exceptionally positive. So let me just take it from there then, and go over why Pulse matters now, and the specifics, the benefits to each one of you guys this morning, but in particular to your businesses. Okay, here's why Pulse matters now. Obviously, the world we live in today is uncertain. Heck, we thought back in February we'd get through this in a couple of months. That's not the case. We're still in a world of uncertainty. There's hope, there's a vaccine on the horizon, but nobody knows, including every single business in your community. They're faced with uncertainty, and they are desperately looking for assistance, help, insights with information about and for their business category. That's what they want. And to be blunt, what worked before the pandemic is not as effective now, because the world has changed for these businesses. They used to have a pretty good idea of what would be happening in the coming months because there was normalcy. They could predict, they could look at their records and see what was happening, but not now. And so Pulse is more important than ever, because the need of the businesses for information about what the heck's going to be happening, what's the potential in customers for my business of your audience, is extremely motivating to them. And this is frankly a unique opportunity. I started out as an ad rep. And I know that each of you, and Tom just mentioned, you've got relationships, you've got businesses you care about, you want to help them. Now is the best time, because we have in Pulse right now current, new, fresh shopping information. And this is the information that the businesses want. And I just want to refresh a bit, if I might. All Pulse does is very, very simple. We just ask the questions a business would ask. That's all. And more than ever, they want to know. Would you guys agree with that? And what
Absolutely.
they're looking for is somebody to help and assist them. So a realtor wants to know, what are your real estate plans in the next 90 days because of the pandemic? You plan to list a property, you plan to change the realtor, you plan to buy a property. What about a car dealer? Same thing. They want to know what's going to be happening. You know, you plan to shop at a car dealership, what brand do you plan to buy, et cetera. Same thing with everybody from a chiropractor to an attorney to an insurance agent, et cetera. That's all we do. Is just ask the questions they would ask, because today more than ever, they want to know because of the uncertainty of the pandemic. And so here's the good news. The information you had in your original Pulse program had 200 business categories. It was kind of the first wave of our COVID research, the impact of COVID on shopping. The survey we just completed the end of October, and it's live on your site right now, in your Pulse program right now, has over 550 business categories. Literally every business category you can think of, from medical to retail to travel to financial services to automotive to real estate, et cetera. We'll go into it in just a second. But the information is what your households plan to buy. This is not market research. This is information of your audience, which makes it even more applicable and more impactful and beneficial to them. And the information is of Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. We call it the Great Lakes region. We got 2,500 sample. Is that awesome? Yeah, because when they do a political poll in the United States, they use 800 to 1,200. We've got 2,500 sample of newspaper readers and their website visitors in Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. And this information, once again, is what the businesses more than ever want. And you mentioned a moment ago, Tom, some of your other sister publications, Kenosha, Carbondale, Glens Falls, in particular Madison, they've been doing exceptionally well, opening the door, starting the conversation, getting appointments with new business because of the information. Here's my most important tip. When you pick up the phone, or you send an email, or you're there, on a Zoom webinar, or hopefully in person, make sure they understand it's their category research, because that's what's important. So let's just do a role play. Let's say I'm calling a realtor, okay? And the first thing I'm going to say is some empathy. I understand, it's obviously the world is tough today. There's a lot of uncertainty what's going to be happening. Nobody knows. So I've got some good news. Pulse asked the questions you would ask. We did a real estate survey. And that's what's important. We did a real estate survey. What do you mean by that? Well, we asked the same questions you would ask. Do you plan to change or get a new realtor in the next 3 months? Oh, really? What'd you find out? And you share that with them. And then you say, we also asked other real estate questions you would ask. Would you ask, do you plan to list a property? Yeah, of course. Would you ask, do you plan to buy a property? You see what I'm saying? I'm getting engaged with them because it's their business. When you say a real estate survey to a realtor, they immediately pay attention. Same thing with a furniture store. We asked furniture questions. That's what gets their attention. The opposite of that is, frankly, a negative. The Times of Northwest Indiana participated in a survey. What immediately they think of is, you did a survey to sell me something. Does that make sense? When they think it's your research, their defenses go up. Why? Because the radio station comes in, the television station comes in, and they're selling themselves, they're selling product, they're selling service. What we want to make sure they understand is this is for them. It's a real estate survey. We ask the same question, and that makes all the difference in the world. It's huge. And so please, and we'll get into just a second, we put together some example phone conversations, some talking points, et cetera, to help you get more appointments. But in quick summary, all Pulse does is ask the questions the businesses would ask. It's more important than ever. It's more beneficial. It's more motivating. And it gets you more appointments, because now, in today's world, they don't know. And there's that uncertainty. So they want information. They want that crystal ball. You've got it. And as Ben was on the call this morning, he said it's gold. It's absolutely gold. Let me share with you from Madison a success story that Ben just shared with me. There was a gentleman up there And he hadn't really used Pulse before. And so he was kind of, how should we say, encouraged to share Pulse on the phone call. So he picked up the phone and he called a legal firm. And he said, I've got some good news for you in so many words. You know, we did a legal firm. We asked legal questions. So what did you ask? We asked, you plan to change, you get a new realtor. And from the teaser, he shared the number, how many households were going to change or get a new attorney reached by Madison's newspapers and their websites, right? But then he said, we also asked about wills and trust. You plan to get a new will or trust. And the guy said, well, what'd you find out? And he told him, he says, can you come over this afternoon? I'd like to learn more. And that afternoon, not a cold call, because he opened it with the information about and for the attorney, he signed a $15,000 vision contract. As simple as that, because the information is the game changer. It got their attention. And so now, just as a reinforcement, Ben calls it tip of the spear. Every conversation, every time, lead with what's in it for the business, the information about them. And it's really simple in Pulse because we have two tools for you that you can create in under 60 seconds. And you can do it on your phone also, or on a tablet or on a Zoom call. Number one is the teaser. And it's the big number. What's in it for the business? It's quite simply the number of households you reach who are in the market in the next 90 days for their business category. Like this example here. Oh my gosh, there's 702 households who in the next 90 days will be looking for a remodeling contractor. That grabs their attention. Would you like to know more about their remodeling plans? Yeah, I would. That's how, when you're making these phone calls to set up appointments, you lead it with what's in it for them. We did a remodeling survey. That grabs their attention. And they immediately want to know more, but it also gives them hope. And so the teaser is the go-to to get the attention, get the appointment. Next is we have the flyer. The flyer is just the super teaser. But what's unique about the flyer is it not only has the big number, what's in it for them, but it also provides shopping plans next 90 days for the products and services in their business category. So as you see here with the remodeling contractor, we also asked in follow-up, do you plan to remodel a bathroom, remodel a kitchen, add a room, general remodeling? This is literally a feeding frenzy for them because they love it. It gives them the insight. But here's why it's important to you. Number one is it helps you establish the credibility as the expert. Your discovery, your needs analysis, this gets them opening up and talking about who are their primary target customers. Where do their customers come from? It helps you put together that vision proposal because it opens the conversation because you have that credibility. You've established that bond relationship with the information about and for their business. It's very effective to that degree, but also it's extremely effective in what to advertise. Let me share with you an example. I don't think I shared this one last time we got together. I was in Hawaii about a year ago, and we made a four-legged sales call to a Honda dealer, and they hadn't advertised in about 2 years, had been a double truck advertiser and had to advertise. They cut back. So I went in with a flyer for an auto dealer, right? And just as a reminder, I said, I've got some good news. We did an automotive shopping survey. And that immediately, once again, well, what do you mean? We asked the same questions you would ask, okay? Like what? You plan to shop at an auto dealer. What did you find out? I shared with him the flyer here. And this is really, really the magic of this. He looked down on the flyer and he saw oil change. And he says, I'm going to advertise oil change. This is awesome. Remember, there's over 4,000 households who needed an oil change. And he signed a contract. And he's going to advertise oil change. So I asked him, why oil change? And here's what he said. And it really, 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 how should we say, just blew my mind on how this information to the business is so beneficial. He said, in Hawaii, there's a shortage of used cars. I have trouble getting a used car inventory. He said, if I advertise oil changes, and there's over 4,000 need an oil change, I'm going to give a super rock bottom price on oil changes. They're going to come in with their used car. That gives me the opportunity to buy their used car. So I get inventory. But it also gives me the opportunity to sell them a new car. And so it is a big marketing opportunity. He said, I can't thank you enough for sharing this information with me. You gave me a solution I didn't even know was there. And I hear that all the time. You gave me a solution I didn't even know was there. Okay? And that's why the flyer, this information about and for their business in today's world, is such a game changer for you guys. But back to the reality. You're making appointments, right? 9 to 11, right, Tom? Getting them engaged with the information about their business, so like in Madison, they want to know more, they want to get together, is the magic, okay? And then it helps you with the discovery, the needs analysis, and ultimately getting the sale, okay? The other thing I want to share with you this morning also, you know, is really been reinforced by the other lead properties, is they are consistently using the pulse break-even calculator, the ROI, as they call it. And the benefit of that is, and I think you'll agree with me, in today's world, the businesses are reluctant to sign a contract. Heck, in the good old days, when the economy's booming, they're reluctant to sign a contract, right? There's fear, there's that financial risk. And the break-even calculator, and we'll go live in just a second, with their input, they realize how few customers they need to pay for the campaign. It takes away the fear, it takes away the risk. And we'll go over it live in just a second. It is a very effective closing tool for you, okay? Why Pulse works? Very simply, tip of the spear. This was not my idea. This was Ben's idea. And this is what's been used so effectively at the other lead properties. Every conversation, every time, tip of the spear. And the tip of the spear is the 702 households who plan to use a remodeling contractor, the 4,000 households in Madison who plan to change and get an attorney. That engages, that starts the conversation, and they want to know more. Then follow up with your discovery. What needs analysis? That's part of the vision presentation proposal, getting the appropriate information from the business. Then number 3 is share your vision proposal with them. It's based upon the information from Pulse and targeting, along with the appropriate packaging of your products and services to reach that opportunity. That's what it's all about. And then number 4 is the Pulse break-even calculator, to share with them how few, oh my gosh, I only need 18 customers, you know, to pay for this vision program. Awesome, let's do it. It makes it a no-brainer for them. So quick summary. Number 1, tip of the spear. Every time, every conversation, as Ben would say, start the conversation with the opportunity, what's in it for the business. Then that leads into your needs analysis. You know, who are their customers, where do they come from, et cetera, et cetera. Now you've got that bond, you've got the credibility. Then share your vision proposal on how to reach that opportunity, that audience. You know, in the case that the gentleman up in Madison did, the households Madison reached who were going to change or get a new will, he wanted his share of it. And so he was very, very interested in how to reach them. And then share with them how many new customers they need, how few they need to pay for the campaign. So let me pause here. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, I think, John, you know, one of the things that's really critical about putting these two together, putting together Pulse with Vision, is, you know, on the sales side, bringing value to the conversation it has never traditionally been part of what media has been focused on. And we flip the conversation to say, look, I owe it to you to bring you this information so you have some insight as to what's out in the market, what's available to you in terms of a customer base, because quite often the business owners flying blind. They think that they have something great to offer, but they don't exactly know what the audience looks like. So sharing this information immediately establishes you as a resource and a friend to the business, and invites you into a conversation about how you can go and get those clients. No one else, especially locally, is doing anything like that for these businesses, and there are so many out there who would die to know this kind of information.
And they are so appreciative, Tom. Every time. Thank you. Thank you so much for caring about me and having information about and for my business at this very critical time. And you made a good point, value. Traditionally in this business, we've sold product price. Okay, let's be blunt about it, okay? We have got to change that culture to opening and engaging with value. Engaging with value, okay? That's what works today, okay? So any of you guys have any questions on the research, how we did it? Because, if you're not comfortable with the research and where the numbers come from, you're going to be, how should we say, reluctant to use this information, this tool. So I'm more than happy. And if you're embarrassed about asking a question, with everybody else, on the call, my email is marling, MARLING @paper.net, marling@paper.net. Okay. Happy to answer.
John, did you say how often you guys go out with the surveys?
We've been doing it every 3 months, Tom, because of the uncertainty, but we normally do it every 12 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So we'll probably be launching this survey we just completed that you have end of October. And so in January, we'll be doing a new survey, and we hope to ask over the next 12 months. We hope there's a little more normalcy. Okay. All right, so let's continue here.
Yep.
Appointments. Major, major, major opportunity, and obviously an objective for you. Now is a great time with this information to get more appointments, much easier, less pain and suffering. And here's how. It's kind of an overview of what I've said, but let's pull all the pieces together. Let's connect the dots. In pre-COVID, the businesses had a pretty good idea. The businesses, Northwest Indiana had a pretty good idea of what would be happening December, January, February, because they had records. There was normalcy they could predict. But obviously the pandemic is blowing all that up. There's uncertainty. And so now the businesses want to know. And because they want to know that uncertainty, it's a phenomenal opportunity for you to engage with the information, and you will get more appointments because they want to know. The need is there. They're hungry for it. Okay? And so now let's go live into your Pulse program, and I'll share with you some tips and recommendations on how to use it to get more appointments, your discovery, your needs analysis calls. And you go into Pulse, pulseresearch.com. And I've set up an account for myself. Each one of you have an account, a username and a password. If you don't, send an email right away to support@pulseresearch.com. Okay? So we'll log in here. And the first thing I want to show you is how to set up Pulse on your mobile device. You've got it anywhere, anytime. So at the top of your screen, click on Help. Then click on FAQ. And then, how do I add Pulse to my mobile devices? Click here, and it shows you on an Apple device or an Android device, tablet or phone, how to put Pulse on your mobile device. The benefit to you is then you've got it anywhere, anytime. You can engage with these tools with the business because it's their information. They love this information. In fact, in all the calls I've made, every single time the business says, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for helping me. And now let's, number one in getting appointments, let's find some hot prospects, not just any old prospects, but the best prospects based upon not only what other lead ad reps have identified as the prospects that are more prone to say yes to the appointment and yes to the sale, we've set up a business guide for you, a COVID business guide right here at the top. Click on that. I put together my personal list of the 25 business categories in today's world I would call on. This is based upon what I hear from other ad reps, the results we see, and just everything I've learned since the pandemic started. Financial advisor, huge, absolutely huge in terms of opportunity. Laboratory medical testing, legal is very, very appropriate. Credit unions, community organizations, including charity, philanthropic groups, hospitals, realtors is big, pet stores, huge, jewelry stores, etc., marriage counselors. These are the low-hanging fruit. If you're looking for appointments, these are 25 business categories that I would recommend. And it's really simple. You just click on find, and up will come a Google mashup of the businesses within that category. And you can change the zip code here. You can put in a community name if you're over in Illinois, and it'll repopulate your list, in this case of attorneys, for that geographic area. And you can save it, by the way. You see this little tag here? Click on the tag, and then you can put in a community name and maybe your area, geographic area that you focus in, and then you can add it, okay? You can name it, like this is Susie's area, and then you can make this your home view. What does that mean? When you log back in, it'll default to your geographic area, okay? And by the way,
yeah, our zip here, John, is 46321.
Okay, 46321. How'd I get in Pontiac? Wow. That's not a perfect world. There we go. That looks more familiar. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And so the point is that you can change it. And then once you change it, you can name it, and you can click here, and you can make that your personal go-to default view. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to prospecting in just a second. But since we're here, we've got a tool that other lead papers have said has really been helpful. It's our call planner. The ability for you to very quickly put together a call list. And so if it was me, and when I was an ad rep, I would focus on a category. Because once I made 5 insurance agency calls, I got pretty good. I was in zone, right? Pretty comfortable. I'd learned a lot in talking to, the first 4. And so look at this. You just add to your call plan, add to your call plan, add to your call plan, add to your call plan. And then you come up here on your call plan, click on it, and each of you will have your own personal call plan, okay? And the benefit to that is it helps you organize. And then if you got it right in front of you, and look at this, you can just mouse over here under presented, and you click on view teaser, and as simple and as fast as that, you've got your teaser, okay? Right there at your fingertips. And that's pretty impressive. You have 11,750 households who in the next 90 days plan to change or get a new legal firm. I know that there are attorneys out there who would be very motivated to talk further, to set up an appointment with you based upon that opportunity of your audience. Can you change the audience basis? Absolutely. You just click right here, and we've got your various audience options. And Tom, if we need to update that, please let us know, okay?
Yeah, I think we're good right now.
Okay, and then you can put in a custom audience. So if you've got a unique combination or you've got a special project, no problem. You just click on the editing pen once again, type in the name of it, and how many households to reach, okay? Simple and as fast as that. So let me click off here if I might, and go back to the dashboard. And now let's take a look at, I want to click down here just a second and show you. We've also put together for you under the COVID prospecting resources, these are the 20 most sold business categories by ad reps across the United States since March. So you got pizza restaurant on there. You got jewelry store on there, catering service. So these are business categories that have been most sold by ad reps across the country since the pandemic. And now let me go back up here, go back to the dashboard. And this time I'm going to click on hot prospects. This is the other recommendation I would make to identify new business opportunities you might not be aware of, is set up appointments. You click on new business type, And this is where you can access over 550 business categories. Where are they? You just click under category. And here they are: apparel businesses, arts and entertainment businesses, automotive businesses, beauty and spa. You get the idea. Community, education, on and on and on and on. Healthcare, retail, et cetera, et cetera. Every single business category you can think of is there at your fingertips. It's a pretty extensive list, obviously. So if you want to look for, let's say, legal, you just type in legal at the top, and you can do a search for business categories. Okay? Let's say you want to do chiropractor. You just type in chiropractor. Simple and as fast as that. The other benefit of this is that you can organize the list by most sold. And this is most sold for the last couple of years. But it does give you a really good insight, once again, into the low-hanging fruit. Okay? And so down here, insurance agency, number 9 on the most sold list. You click on find. Okay? And we're setting up our prospect calls once again, you know, to get appointments, to engage. Well, I've got the default. What was your zip code again?
46321.
46321. I'm gonna have to talk to our programmers when they set up my default site. How the heck it got in Pontiac? Anyways, okay. And so now we're insurance agencies. So we're gonna add some insurance agencies to our call plan. So it's really fast and simple. Remember, we're gonna make calls 9 to 11, okay? So we add to our call plan, we go to our call plan, and now we've added insurance agencies, you know, Arlie Blair, State Farm Insurance. Now let's do a flyer. Let's do a flyer. So we just click on flyer. It's as fast and as simple as that, okay? Okay, insurance. There we go. Oops. There we go. And now you've got your full talking points, both the opportunity, and look at that, you've got 20,000. This is pretty impressive. 20,618 households you reach when the next 90 days plan to change or get a new insurance agency. By the way, how did we get that? It's not rocket science. From the survey, you know, papers in Indiana and around you, 9.3%, just a measly 9.3% said, yeah, they plan to change a new insurance agency in the next 3 months. We take that times the number of households you reach, and that's where we get to 20,618. Okay? Just simple math. We find out the percentage times the households you reach to give the opportunity. And this is just absolutely mind-blowing magic to the business. But then let's find out where they can get more business. If I was doing a presentation to an insurance agency, guys, I'd focus on business insurance. Why? Because I've made a lot of sales out in the field to an insurance agent, sharing with them. Look at this. You've got almost 6,000 households you reach who in the next 90 days are going to change or get new business insurance. Because about 20% of your audience either own or manage a business. They're buying insurance for their business. And so these are the pearls in here that you can share with them. And so many times it just pops off the page. Oh my gosh, look at furnace repair. I should be advertising furnace repair. Look at oil change. I should be advertising oil change. I would have never guessed that, okay? Share it with them. You're doing a Zoom call, okay? They can see your screen. But even better yet, on a Zoom call, you can just click here and you go right into the research. What else would you like to know? You know, business dental insurance, okay? What else would you like to know? Pet insurance, professional liability, crop insurance. Nobody else has this, like Tom said. It is absolutely awesome in getting their confidence, engaging, and most important, your needs analysis, putting together your vision proposal, but ultimately what to advertise. And then here's the other thing. You can email this. Just click on the email and you can email them. These are uncertain times, so we ask for you. Plans of changing a new insurance agency in the next 3 months. Boom, there it is. We give them a couple teasers on the available information. And then you can we put in some default words here. Would you like to get together to review the current, you know, insurance agency information, what time works for you? You can edit this, personalize it, and then send it off to them, okay? So as simple as that. So a quick summary. in your Pulse program, number one is the prospecting tools. You've got the prospecting tools for the COVID. Okay, just a second here, click off. There we go. Oops. Internet issues this morning. Somebody log back in. There's a glitch that we update the program literally every day with new features, and sometimes we break it. It's having trouble here going back. Okay, there we go. So in summary, prospecting, who to contact. You've got your COVID opportunity business categories. You've got your hot prospects based on most sold. And I won't go in it right now, but after, the call, you've got a mapping program. Audience buying power is pretty impressive. I'm going to click on that one for a second here. You could call up like a auto repair business, okay? And share with them your spending. And so let's type in here, auto repair. Okay, auto repair shop. 23.4% of your audience plan to use an auto repair shop. That's 51,878 households. Simple math. Pulse estimates that a household would spend $1,500 over a year's time on auto repairs. So 1,500 times 51,000, that's $77.8 million. So that's another conversation starter. Thought you might like to know that our audience is going to spend almost $78 million on auto repairs. Let me help you get a larger share of that. We also asked, what are your auto repair needs? Everything from brakes, to shocks, et cetera, et cetera. Let me help you find out where the sweet spot is for your business, okay? So back to the dashboard here. Okay, so now I've shared with you the teaser, the flyer. You can also do a one-page presentation, and the one-page presentation has the benefit of providing additional information about, let's just click here on one page here. Okay, so I'm going to put it in an ad package. So let's say 18,000, 52 weeks. Okay, got some products and services. I'm doing this fairly fast, but in the Pulse training, we go over in detail. One of the things I wanted to show you is in your research, we asked, do you use Facebook? Do you use Google search? What real estate sites do you go to? What automotive sites do you go to? Why? Because a business will say to you, well, I don't need you because I'm on Facebook. I don't need you because we got our own dealer Facebook page, et cetera, right? And so we ask the questions to help you show them what they're missing. And so let's say this is real estate here. We asked about Zillow. And Zillow is pretty powerful, but look at that. Zillow misses 79% of your audience. And the question, by the way, was, if you were looking for homes for sale in Northwest Indiana, which of the following real estate sites would you go to? 21% said Zillow, but that means that 79% would not go to Zillow. And we also asked about Facebook. Look at that. 13% said they would go to Facebook. Let me put it another way. In the last 30 days, they've used a business Facebook offer, but 87% have not. Okay, so let's click on that. Okay, local radio station, 87% have not responded to an ad in a local radio station. And so it gives you the ability in your one page to share with them when they say, I don't need you. We're going to show them what they're missing. And then also on the one page, we can show a return on investments. We had $18,000 campaign. So a 10-time return is $180,000. Okay. Ad readership is very, very powerful. 58% of your audience either purchased or sought more information from an item advertised in a local paper last 30 days. So what I've done here very quickly, and I apologize, I'm doing it fast, but it's in the Pulse training, is setting up the third presentation option, which is the one page. And the one page has two additional benefits for you. It has obviously what's in it for the business, products and service categories, but it shares with them in the presentation how few customers they need to pay for the campaign. And then it shares with them what they're missing. So if they say, well, I don't need you, I always put my specials on Facebook. Well, Facebook is good. 13% of our audience have responded to a business Facebook offer in the last 30 days, but 87% have not. So if you're putting your insurance, automotive, program special ad, just on Facebook, you're missing 87% of our audience. And that's a big deal. 87% of our audience for home insurance, for instance, 87% is about 12,000 homes that we reach in the next 30 days, or excuse me, 90 days. We're going to change, we get new homeowners insurance. That is a major motivator to them when they find out you reach an audience they want that they're missing. And the other thing with the one page, this goes into the break-even calculator. If you're on a Zoom webinar, you can pull in the click just on it, comes up on their screen also, and you can ask them, what is the value of your customer? Okay, our customer value, let's say it's a furniture store, $2,500. What's your cost of goods? 65%. They only need 21 customers. And how was that calculated? It's their net value. That's their retail less their cost of goods, $875, into the cost of the campaign. They only need 21. Just 21 customers. That's 21 out of the thousands you reach. We also build in a little tool here for you for that ordinary business. I don't think I'll get 21. Okay. What is the fewest number of customers you think you'll get? Fewest number of new customers you're going to get over the next 12 months. You click here on the pen, and the guy says, well, I think the absolute fewest number of customers I'll get is 12, one a month. Well, he just agreed to a $10,500 campaign. 12 customers, his lowest, at his net customer value, $875. Multiply the two together, 12 times $875. He just agreed to a $10,500 campaign. Simple as that. And so if Ben was on the call this morning or some of your other sister publications, they would share with you that the break-even calculator is a huge resource for you. Okay, so now let's go back to the dashboard here. And this time, if you've got it on your phone, just click on the closing tool right here, and you can bring it up on your phone. And so you don't need to be in the one page. Just click, and with the business, what's important here is say to the business, let's work together. Let's figure out together what works for you, what's comfortable for you. What do you mean by that? Based upon the number of customers you feel is realistic in getting with a campaign over the next, in this case, 52 weeks. So let's say the campaign cost is $12,000. What's your customer value? We ask them, $2,000, okay? What's your cost of goods or cost of service? 56%, okay? They only need 14. This is, once again, very, very effective. And so last thing I want to show you here this morning is the Pulse training and certification. I've covered a lot this morning. Pulse has a wide range, of tools and resources for you. It can be a little bit overwhelming and confusing. So we put together the Pulse training and certification. And so you click here, and up will come the Pulse training program. Each one of the sessions has a very short video, 4 to 5 minutes. Where do the research numbers come from? You watch the video, and then you check off. You watch the video, and you check off you did the assignments. And then you confirm you completed that step. And the reason I suggest this is the Pulse tools are extremely effective in today's world. But there's a lot there. And so this training certification program that we've got for you can be very helpful in you becoming more comfortable with the Pulse program. And one other quick thing is the reporting. Every time you create a presentation, it automatically logs it for you. So this one here we did for Arlie Blair, you just go over here, click on the navigation dots, and then you can edit the presentation. You can mark it as presented. You can mark it as passed. You can mark it as sold. Okay. Well, let's go down here to a teaser. Okay. So we did the teaser for injury law firm, and you mark it as engaged. I engaged with the teaser. I engaged with the flyer. Okay. It's getting the appointment. So you mark it as engaged, and you put in today's date. Okay. And then you get Pulse points. And then back to the one page, which I was on first, you click on there, you mark it as presented, you put in the date it was presented, and then you can come back in and you can mark it as sold. Okay, so it's just following the steps of the sales process. Mark it as sold. When? Today. What type of sale was it? It was a new sale. Okay. All this information or the steps in the reporting, once again, is in the Pulse training and certification program. Okay. So that's a quick overview. And one of the things I wanted to really focus on this morning is helping you get appointments and helping you get more sales with your Pulse program. And I put together a little guide for you guys. So let me go back here, and I want to share that with you. And I call this the Connect Guide. And let's take a quick look at it here. What the Connect Guide is, it's a gateway. It's a front end, if you will, to your Pulse resources. And it's set up to be very simple. And so that in this guide, or gateway into Pulse, you've got just a very simple list. Where do you get prospects? And I built into this guide links to the pandemic leads, the most sold leads, the audience buying power leads. We've also put in here for you some suggested words on the phone call. So you click here on Make the Appointment. And I put together a short example phone conversation to get the appointment. And you just click right here, and it's roughly about a 4-minute, the words I would say, my recommendation on using the information to get the appointment. But we've also put together here some talking points, some bullet points for you to engage with the business, with their information to get that appointment. Okay? And go back to the guide here, if I might. Okay? Then we've also put together, like I showed you there with the flyer, an example email to send, because it's not a perfect world. And so many times you're going to be leaving a voice message. So we put together an email follow-up. Because a lot of times, once again, it's not a perfect world, they're not following up. You need to follow up with a phone call. So I put together some suggested words on a follow-up phone call, a follow-up email to get the appointment. So I will send you, Tom, the link to this guide. But I think this will be quite helpful to you as you're making your appointment calls each day. Links to the prospects and links to our suggested words to say and emails in following up to get the appointments. Okay? So any questions or anything, Tom, that you would like to add this morning?
First, let's see if there are any questions out there. Anyone need to jump off mute and ask John a question?
Happy to answer questions. Love questions.
I do have one for you, John. So
Yes, please.
can you look up an account by business name? So if I have an account and I'm wondering if it's on the platform.
Yes, you can. So let me go back here. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So let me log back in. And right at the top, Tom, of the home page, what business would you like to help today? You can just type in the name of the business.
Okay,
And
great.
then there's a Google
Because
Maps.
certainly
Pardon?
right. Every one of the reps have a list of inactive accounts out there that they have called and called again, but to be able to go in, search for those accounts, and then provide them some information that's vastly different than how they've reached out to them in the past could really be a game changer for a lot of those conversations. So that's great to know.
You just type in their name and you just click on the editing pen here, and then you can immediately do a teaser or flyer and you're underway. Okay?
Okay, great. So I just want to point out to everyone who is on call, look, this, in the absence of having a formal CRM tool, this and the addition of Vision really goes a long way to being able to put together a list of accounts that you are working with on a consistent basis and tags them under your name, and then gives you the ability to establish a relationship with them and walk them through the process. So take advantage of it. The way that John was showcasing how you can quickly build a call planner and then follow along how you are engaging with them is really something we haven't had the luxury of having before. The second thing is, we are not that fortunate in Northwest Indiana to have survey research, to have any research that's specific to us. Typically, it's for the Chicagoland market. We get bunched in with Chicagoland, so it's usually not very accurate and or leaves a little to be desired. To have what John's showing us here that is absolutely specific to our distribution area and our products, I think is huge, and we have to take advantage of it. And the third is, look, I took an hour of what was blitz time for all of you today because, look, this is a smarter, not harder option.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to get your work out or your message out to, in dozens, if not hundreds of accounts very quickly using this tool, I think is worth taking an hour to have you guys see this once again. So I just want everyone to really engage and get used to using it, because I think it's going to be really a game changer for most of you who engage. Every week I get an email from John and his team talking about a win that came up using this tool.
Sales success, yeah.
And it's never, I got a $500 order. I'm sure there's plenty of those that have come through. It usually is an annual deal that if you were to win that deal, it would dramatically change the trajectory of your year. So there's no reason not to engage with this and put it together with what we're doing with Vision to really find a whole bunch of new friends out here in the Northwest Indiana market. So, John, thanks for the time. And because you're recording this, we'll be able to send it back out to everybody and so they can watch it again.
Yep. So I will send you
any more questions for John?
Send your questions to Marling, MARLING, @paper.net. Happy to answer them.
John, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You too. Take care, John.
Thanks.